Hey everyone, it's VM Campos, Comic-Con fan, camcorder fan. This video will be about the camcorders that I used at San Diego Comic-Con 2025. Let's start with this one first. Don't worry, I'll get to the other one in a moment, but we'll start with the Canon camera first. So I've been going to San Diego Comic-Con for a long time, and you just gotta do things to spice things up, you know? In the very beginning, when I first went to Comic-Con in the 90s, I was taking photos on film. I gave that up and went to digital, just like everyone else. Then I got back into film, and I started to take photos, film photos at Comic-Con again. Well, now in my latest endeavor, because I've got way too many hobbies, is that I've gotten into camcorders, vintage camcorders. So I took video at Comic-Con, but on a vintage camcorder. What you're seeing right now was shot on this Canon FS100, and it totally feels vintage with that perfect vibe of the old days, doesn't it? That dreamy aesthetic that we're all searching for. Well, I was able to get that with this camera, the Canon FS100 from 2008. So as of this video, this nearly 20-year-old camera still holds up, still creates great video with a great aesthetic. This is my secret to you if you wish to get into camcorders. Go for the Canon line, the FS line. And if you want the real easy answer, just get this FS100, just like me, because I'm showing you footage that I recorded with this camera, and if you love the footage, you'll love this camera. And I got mine at a little bit of a discount on eBay because it was sold not working, and it wasn't working. The lens shutter was not opening up, and therefore it was recording just black video. It was recording audio, but no video, so a worthless camcorder, until I used the advanced technology of gluing the shutter open. After I glued it open, it worked perfectly. So I'm very happy with my purchase. It came with the strap, it came with the battery, it came in the box and the CD and everything in great condition. It was just sold non-working, and I got it to work. It's got the flip-out screen. It's not a touch-capable screen. It still uses the buttons and this little rocker control pad here. And then you've got the various other advanced inputs, outputs, USB, etc. These tactile buttons at the back. So satisfying. And then the power at the top, with cool sound effects. And now I'm ready to record with a vintage camera that gives you those vintage vibes. Now 2008, in the grand scheme of things, wasn't that long ago, and in the same time, it was a long time ago compared to the world of technology. But this was at the sweet spot of things, because this was still using the classic CCD sensor that gives you that certain vibe, that certain aesthetic. This is in a nice small form factor with a beautiful little LCD screen and zoom capability, digital zoom, optical zoom, etc. But what was really cool was that it used SD cards. Yes, SD cards instead of tape. So that's the one weird trick if you want to record in that great aesthetic of the past. You just need the right camera, like the Canon FS100, which records on SD cards. It gives you the look, the style, the vibe, the colors, etc. But it's in a nice, easy-to-use package of an SD card instead of tape. Tape is cool, but it's way more hassle, as I'll talk about in a moment when I show the Sony camera in a moment. But if you want to get into camcorders, this will be an easy way to do so. That's thanks to the Canon FS100. Let's look at the other camcorder that I used at Comic-Con 2025. The other camera that I used at Comic-Con is this Sony Handycam DCR TRV530. This is a tape-based camera compared to the other one, which was tapeless. So it uses classic tapes, and it records in the digital 8 format. So bigger, bulkier, and honestly same look, same aesthetic as the Canon. But if you really want to get nostalgic and use tapes on a camcorder, I really like this camera. This is from 2001, so it's almost 25 years old as of this video. And it really shows compared to the Canon, which was 2008 vintage. In 7 years, technology had really changed. So in 2001, we were using tapes. Now, here's the challenge with the tape cameras. You don't just plug in your camera and transfer the footage. Now, some cameras can do that, most of them can't. Now, I shouldn't even say that. Now, do your research, do your homework. If you really want a tape-based camcorder, there's plenty of videos out there that'll explain the exact models that do the exact thing that you want, but those are the more expensive ones because they do things easily. They just work. For these other ones, you have to do more effort. You have to put more effort into it. You have to get the tapes, you have to record it, rewind it, play it, plug it in the right way, capture it the right way. And with more effort is more annoyance. I'm going to give you the shortcut here. If you get a digital 8 or a mini DV camera, but I would recommend a digital 8. I'll explain why in a moment. You record your footage and then you plug it into your computer to retrieve the footage. But here's where the problem comes from. You're going to plug in with this archaic connection known as FireWire. Now, this camera is pretty pristine, except that my little port over here is messed up, so I'm holding it very high-tech with tape. And then this reveals, okay, a USB port, everyone knows those, but then we've got a FireWire port right here, which computers nowadays, they don't really have this anymore. So the way I transfer my footage is with a vintage Windows Vista Sony laptop that I plug the cable from my camcorder into the computer and transfer easily. Yeah, that's hassle right there because you probably have a Windows 10 or Windows 11 computer, the latest version of Mac, and they don't have this port. So yeah, there's some hassle there. So I bought myself a Windows Vista laptop off of eBay, very cheap, because who wants Windows Vista anymore? I do, because it's got the FireWire port. Use Windows Movie Maker and just capture the footage perfectly. A perfect copy of the footage on this camera. It's digital after all. Digital 8 and Mini DV create digital files. You just have to transfer them to your computer, and then it works perfectly. And I said get a digital 8 instead of a mini DV because digital 8 is still the same size as classic video 8 and high 8 tapes. Mini DV is not. So this one's a bit more universal. Form factor wise, this camera will play and record digital 8, high 8, and video 8. If you get a mini DV camera, it will only work with mini DV. The end. But you say, wait a minute, doesn't this also use memory cards? Yes, this does have the capability to use Sony memory stick. No, not an SD card, a Sony memory stick, which was Sony's version of the memory card standard, which they used on all of their devices for a long time. And if you were in the Sony ecosystem, it works. But eventually the market said, nah, that's way too much of a niche standard. Let's just go with plain old SD cards. You could double up and go with the 128 megabyte memory cards. But the point is, no, you're not recording the video on these and then just popping it into your computer. You don't even have the adapter for this anyway. But no, this only records still images. It doesn't record the actual videos. It's still going to record on tape, and then you need to transfer it over either via the lower quality analog outputs, or better yet with the digital output over here. But you need the dedicated cable and connection for that. So yeah, it's more hassle. And honestly, it gives you the same vibes, the same aesthetic if you go with the Sony Digital 8 camera with the Canon. Comparatively, look at that. This is like a battle cruiser compared to a schooner. They both give you the same end result, but this one's way easier to use, the Canon FS100, compared to the Sony Handycams. Although I do have to say that these look cool when you're out in the wild and you have one of these big bulky 25-year-old cameras. It's cool. At Comic-Con I actually ran into someone that also had their own Handycam, and we did the hey to each other because we both saw we had a Handycam. They were probably 20 years younger than me, but we were connected via the Sony Club, and that was pretty cool. As for the quality, you've been seeing some footage. I'll show a little bit more, some Comic-Con footage that I recorded with this Sony TRV 530. It looks good, right? Pretty much the same as the Canon, so why not go the easier route and get the Canon? And there we go, so that was my adventure at San Diego Comic-Con on a couple of vintage camcorders. I recorded with the Sony FS100 SD card-based vintage camera from 2008, and also the tape-based Digital 8 Sony Handycam TRV 530. Tell me what you thought about that footage in the comments. Are you interested in getting into vintage camcorders? Hopefully my video helped you.
Sonic! Yeah, there it is tomorrow night, but she wants it twice.
In any event, this has been VM Campos, and I'll see you in the next video.
The exhibit hall is now closed to attendees. The exhibit hall will open again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Don't forget to check the programming schedule for exciting nighttime programs.